everybody, Jeff here, and what in the world is going to happen for the future of Valorant's lore? I feel like there's just so many different stories happening at the same time, which is a good thing if you ask me, but it kind of makes it hard to predict where these storylines and, well, Valorant's lore as a whole will end up. Especially with the last couple of weeks, we have gotten like major updates to Valorant's lore. So I'm going to do a quick recap for you all on all the pieces of open lore stories still in progress and try to predict where they will end up. So let's first start off with one of my favorite storylines that has gone quite cold with no real updates recently: Reyna's potential start to the Radiant Wars. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of the story and then every other major event in the video, I want to let you all know that I'm going to be running a giveaway of a $20 Valorant gift card. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Also, you gotta let me know by leaving a comment down below what your favorite story of Valorant's lore is so far for you. I'll pick the winner 48 hours after the video uploads, but I also have a word from today's sponsor. Do you want to spy on your teammates or enemies, kind of like how Cypher spies on his? Then Valorant Tracker is the tool for you. Guys, Valorant Tracker does so many things, like being able to see your teammates and even enemies' stats and how well they've been doing lately. It updates in your live matches, but you can also check your stats extremely in depth as well. You can see awesome stats like who your best agent's KD and round win is, like which agent you perform the best in. You can see what your best map is that you win on, and you can see once and for all if you're better with the Vandal or Phantom, and if you really should be the opping Jett or Chamber on your team. It'll see if you're missing your shots or not with the op. If you are, oh, you might need to stop opping. So if you want to spy on your enemies and kind of figure out, unfortunately, which one is the weakest link, and you just absolutely bum rush that person who's like got like the 0.7 KD, then make sure to download Valorant Tracker by using my link in the description below or the pinned comment, and make sure to get your Cypher on. Okay, so back to Reyna's initial stages of beginning to plant the seeds of what may become the Radiant Wars in the future. For those of you unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, KO comes from an alternate timeline where Reyna raises an army of Radiants to take over the globe with exterminating humanity, leaving Radiants the keys to the planet. But KO was manufactured in a lab specifically designed to nullify Radiant's powers for a short duration and, well, kill them. Ultimately, he saved his planet and came to our Earth via the teleporter on Breeze. But what does this have to do with our Reyna on Earth 1? Well, if we remember, she did try to start convincing Neon when she was brand new to the protocol that they were trying to put a muzzle on her by limiting her powers. It looks like Reyna was actually trying to plant the seeds of feeling oppressed for Neon. It did look like Riot was trying to start this potential beginning stages of what would eventually maybe become Radiant Wars, especially with Chamber telling Reyna that he has an impressionable young mind for Reyna to corrupt, aka Neon. But ever since then, we haven't gotten any updates on it. I do think we'll see something about this in the future, maybe, but as of right now, the storyline is cold. Speaking of cold storylines, Omen. When in the world are we going to get more details about Omen's history? Like, now I will say that Fade, when she was blackmailing Omen, did shed a little bit more light on his lore, mainly by just like bringing up that he's gone by many different names, yet he still doesn't know who he is. It still really sucks that there are members of the protocol that do know who he is and what happened to him, Viper and Cypher for example, but they're trying to keep it a secret, like in Viper's case, or locking the information behind a massive paywall that Omen would have to pay, like in Cypher's case. Over the time that Valorant has been out as a game, we have gotten very little but extremely valuable information about Omen. Let's see if we can get any more in the future about him. Now that's where this theory comes in I'm about to tell you. Now I've gotten a lot, and I do mean a lot, of comments and DMs recently where people are saying they think that Omen is actually the person Fade was looking for all this time, but not like Omen in the way he is today. We're talking about Omen when he was a human before the accident. The theory goes that assuming Fade hasn't like told anyone on the VP the name of the person she's looking for, she wouldn't know that Omen actually used to be the guy she knew in her past. I mean, I guess I can kind of have some merit to this theory. What do you guys think? Do you think Omen, but when he was a human before his accident, is the man Fade knew in the past? It kind of does make sense why she would like look for the protocol. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I also wanted to bring up the story of Fracture again. 3 very important potential storylines are being made right now currently in Valorant's lore. 1. Ruben Pontes, the man that helped Chamber break into the Everett research facility, who dropped off the radar when the disaster happened, but is now seen on Omega Earth in a rail car with Oren McKenna, his friend who they worked with together on Fracture. Also, the fact that the Valorant Protocol is now looking for him as one of their primary mission objectives, which we've seen updated on the board. 2. The families of the Everett Research Lab, who are now trying to search for more answers for their loved ones that died in the disaster. Breach already did tell Brimstone that he got word that the families of the scientists and personnel that died have been pressuring the kingdom for answers, which eventually might expose the secrets of Omega Earth and the Valorant Protocol also. Since that message, we haven't gotten any more news from Breach or anyone else, but something is telling me that the secrecy of the Valorant Protocol is going to be uncovered very, very soon. Even Fade was like literally 2 seconds away from exposing it all. The third thing is the potential for the rest of the Valorant Protocol to find out that Chamber is the sole reason, well, I guess also Ruben Pontes as well, for the destruction of Fracture. We already know that one of Chamber's biggest fears is for everyone to look down and judge him with his mirror double and himself working together that killed a bunch of people. Could Riot be setting up a story arc with Chamber where he would have to redeem himself if people were to find out all the terrible things he's done? I certainly hope so, because that sounds so cool, and it would be nice to see the bad guy get some consequences for their crimes. Another major storyline that's been in development ever since even Chamber was being recruited is what will happen when the Valorant Protocol finally make it to Omega Earth, which used to be called Mirror Earth. I think Riot is like trying to like change like the terminology from Mirror Earth to Omega Earth now, so just keep that in mind. Like I said, this has been going on since Chamber has even been recruited. It took a long time, but the Valorant Protocol finally developed a model to replicate a teleporter that was found at the Everett research facility on Fracture, like we talked about earlier. Luckily, Chamber had the blueprints to build another one, even though the blueprints were no longer able to be found on site when Viper and Cypher went there. Wow, I wonder how Chamber got those blueprints. But after much trial and error, the teleporter has finally been made and functional. Actually, we recently had the first test subject use a teleporter to travel to Omega Earth. It was actually Fade of all people, even though she just joined the protocol. She used the teleporter to scout out the area around the receiving terminal at Omega Earth. Luckily, she got there and back unharmed and undetected. But she did use her radiant powers and Nightmare to get into the civilians' heads there, and she found out that almost all of them were really on edge and felt like they were either scared or nervous about something. She also found like a huge area full of secrets not too far away from the teleporter terminal. She warned Brimstone about it and urged him that they need to go scout it out to see what they're dealing with. Now, unfortunately, due to annoying leaks about the game from people, we already know that this place Fade is detecting is very, very likely going to be the new map coming to Valorant, which is set to be on Omega Earth in Lisbon, Portugal to be exact. So if we piece it all together, whatever this place is that Fade discovered is going to be the battleground and likely have a huge significance to the lore with the next map. I can't wait for that, to be honest. I also wonder what's going to happen with the gameplay on that map. Will the attackers actually be our Earth 1 agents and the defenders will be the Omega Earth agents now? And will we need to still plant the spike to win a round? And if so, how will they explain that in the lore? Like, I wonder if Brimstone is going to come up with a plan or a mission of like, now they have to plant the spike to steal back the Radiant that was already stolen from them. I wonder how they're going to work that out. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below about what do you think they would do with that. I can literally go on and well, even more on about all of the open storylines that we don't have any closure yet with all the agents and everything else going on. But the last big thing I do want to talk about for today's video has to be what's going to happen with Yor's ancestors and the strange dimensional stuff going on by the ancient warship on Icebox. Not too long ago, I made an Icebox lore video where we went in depth and explored everything there is to know about that map. It was actually really crazy. You should probably watch it. But the biggest thing there is that Yor's ancient samurai ancestors have a ship that crashed into the ice that's been there for God knows how long. And then also the samurai armor that was likely aboard that ship that the kingdom took and held it at the Icebox facility. Now, of course, we already know that Yoru went there and stole the mask to the armor that has Radiant embedded in it from so long ago. Way before the first light. But with multiple voicemails sent from Yoru to Brimstone in his office, Yoru said to Brim that the dimensional field at the ancient warship is very fragile. Yoru even quote-unquote fell into the weak dimensional fragment and heard a woman's voice calling out to him. Strangely enough, Yoru told Brimstone that he recognized the woman's voice. And that's all we got so far on this storyline. No additional updates have been given to us yet. But I have so many questions surrounding this. Why was Radiant on Earth centuries ago? Why is the dimensional fabric so weak at the ship? And are there any more other pockets like that on Earth that we can find? Who was that woman that called out to Yoru, and why does he recognize her voice? I can imagine in the near future we will get all these answers, but if it's anything like Omen's story, for example, we may be waiting a long time for that, like we have with Omen. Well, remember everyone, if you do want to enter the giveaway, make sure you do so before I pick the winners. Now, with all that being said, Jippy out!